What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Command and Console. My name is Jason. Today we're talking about a few games that I believe are trapped on console. Now, with this video, I know these games probably could be emulated fairly easily with emulators and such, but I'm not an emulator guy, so I had to get them for their consoles. And also, I'm not sure if any of these have been re-released on PC. There's one Nintendo game here that I don't think has actually been released at all. So yeah, so with that prefix in place, let's talk about some of the games that I think you should pick up that are trapped on their consoles. The first game is an honourable mention, and it's from an amazing first-person shooter series for the PlayStation 3, and that is Resistance: Fall of Man. I like all the Resistance games. 1, 2 and 3 are fantastic. Even the PS Vita game that came out was pretty cool as well. But number 1 has always been my favourite in the series. It still holds up now. It plays awesome now as well. You're playing through it on PS3. I really recommend this one. Obviously, it was a launch title for PS3, so it's one of the oldest games on PS3. I do believe this was a packing title, or you could get a bundle with it back in the day. These have never had HD reissues on later consoles. They've never been ported to PC, and yeah, it's a shame. It really is a shame because it's a great series, and this first game in particular is awesome. That's Resistance: Fall of Man. The next game is trapped on the original Xbox, and also it has a PS2 port of its kind of like spin-off add-on thing that came out. I'm talking about the Xbox game OutRun 2. This is one of the greatest arcade racing games that Sega has ever put out, in my opinion. I think it's absolutely silky smooth gameplay. It looks amazing on the original Xbox, and it's just so addictive to play. This has never been reissued on any modern systems up until this time. Obviously, this game can probably be emulated fairly easily through an emulator, of course, but when we're talking about hard physical copies, the only way to really get this game is to get the PS2 variant, which is coast to coast, or get the original Xbox version of it, which is a shame because it's one of the best games Sega has put out, in my opinion. It's fan-fucking-tastic, and I think everyone should give this a go. If you've got an original Xbox, there's no excuse not to pick up OutRun 2. It's awesome. The next game is the most underrated, criminally overlooked survival horror game ever released, and it is trapped on the Nintendo GameCube. I am talking about Eternal Darkness. Yeah, this game has never had a official reissue in any capacity. It never was re-released on the Wii, it was never re-released on the Wii U, it never got a HD update on the Switch. Nothing of those kinds ever came out of this game, and it's baffling to me because this game would sell gangbusters, especially with the resurgence of the Resident Evil franchise. I think anything survival horror now will go really, especially if it's from a renowned series, would do pretty well. And even though this is the only game in this series, it's so well renowned in terms of that it's almost like an underrated gem, that I feel like if they reissued this as a HD update, I think it would just sell really well. It's an awesome game. You're going between time periods, and you've got a sanity meter, and yeah, it's just really cool. And it fucks with the player as well. It messes with the player in a really, really creative ways, and I think it's one of the most underrated, criminally overlooked survival horror games ever made. It's trapped on the GameCube, unfortunately, but that is Eternal Darkness. This next game is on the Xbox 360, but I do believe it was released on PC as well back in the day. Now, I'm not sure if you can play that PC version anymore, because I think it was marred with the awful Games for Windows Live service back in the day. But the game I'm talking about is called Dark Sector. This game is basically what you get if you take Resident Evil 4 and you take Kroll and you add a bunch of mutant monsters in there. It's an over-the-top action game that, takes a lot of cues from Resident Evil 4, over-the-shoulder camera, over-the-shoulder action, but you get this kind of like glaive kind of throwing weapon that can just cut through enemies like butter. This game is really, really fun. Again, it's trapped on Xbox 360 and PS3. I don't see it ever getting a reissue, unfortunately, but it is a great game. I highly recommend it. You can pick this up for pennies now. I think this was like £1. When I picked it up, it was like very, very cheap. Highly recommend this one if you want to get a cool, fun action game that's a bit different from the usual fare. Yeah, Resident Evil crossed with the film Kroll with some mutant monsters in there to make it a bit interesting. It's a fun little one, that is. That's Dark Sector. The second to last game on the list is a title that completely baffles me that it was not part of the HD remaster treatment the other two games in this series got back on the PS3. I'm talking about Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. This might be my favourite one in the series. Number 3 is amazing, but I think I've got a lot more nostalgic memories with this one. But this is the thing, they re-released Dragon Ball Z Budokai and Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3 as a HD package on the PlayStation 3, and this game was strangely omitted from that HD remaster. It's a bit strange because having 1 and 3 and not having the second game is just so strange not to have in a, you know, re-release package, I suppose. This game is unfairly trapped on PlayStation 2 and GameCube, and I feel like it needs a, you know, they need to do a whole collection of the Budokai games in general on modern systems. Hell, just re-release them on PC, guys. Like, just to have them there to play them and you know, preserve them in some regard, right? It needs to happen. It needs to happen, guys. Yeah, so Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2, trapped on GameCube and PS2. It's an awesome game. I love it to death. This game is amazing. But yeah, again, another unfortunate game that's trapped on their consoles. The next title is a Nintendo game that is wonderful. It's a 2D title. It's on the Nintendo Wii, and I don't believe it's had a re-release or anything of the like. Wario Land Shake Dimension, also known as Wario Land Shake It in North America. It uses just a Wii remote to control, so it's very simple to control. And yeah, it's got a beautiful, beautiful, striking, vivid, hand-drawn art style. It looks amazing. I think it's great. It's one of the most underrated Wii games on the Wii. It's awesome, and it's trapped on the Wii. I love it. It's awesome. Like I said, the artwork is absolutely fantastic. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Amazing hand-drawn art in this. And the gameplay's fun. It's a fun, simple 2D game where you're Wario and you're looking for some legendary treasure that's been stolen by pirates. What's not to love there? Yeah, that's just amazing. Once again, another game criminally trapped on the Wii. That's Wario Land Shake Dimension. So that is it, guys. That is the games I've picked out that I think you should check out that are trapped on console. As always, guys, there's so many more games I could have brought up on this list that I trapped on console and have never had reissues. Obviously, I'm picking games out of my own personal collection for these lists because I feel like it's a bit cooler to have something to show you on the screen. But yeah, these games, they're all amazing, and I think they're all great. I think, like my honourable mention, Resistance is one of the best FPS games on PS3. Where is this? Where is the reissues? Where is the re-releases on modern consoles? If they put out Resistance 1, 2 and 3 on PS5 with a bit brushed up graphics, I'll be there day one. It'd be amazing. Video game makers or publishers or whatever, reissue these games because I will buy them on modern systems because they're amazing. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on any of these games in the comments down below. And what games would you recommend to me that I also trapped on console? Any of your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, let's continue to build a games collection.